Ring, 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 ring. Hello?
Yes, hello.
I'm sorry. Who is
May I
this?
speak to Mr. Chapo, please?
Yeah, well, you're speaking to the Chapo Trap House. You're on air right now.
Right, I rang up the number. I found it listed in the phone book that for Mr. Chapo Trap House, this is Sebastian Gorka.
Sebastian
And I'm
Gorka?
calling
Whoa.
because I'm very upset, and I'd like to telephonically bully you for a couple of minutes.
Wait. Sebastian, are you calling from the White House?
Please, yeah, I can't disclose the location where I am, but yes, I will put it this way. I am dressed in a sort of felt blue tourist, come this way, don't touch that sort of uniform, and I'm here with the President's Special Counsel of whatever it is.
Sebastian, why are you calling? I mean, I know we discussed you on last week's show.
Because I think what you've been saying about me has been just absolutely atrocious. Just an absolute violation of human rights. And I think if you're going to talk about someone that way, and not even get into my origin story, and not even give me the right of response, or the right, of just a minor genocidal act or something, I think that, in truth, you are being terrorists. You are being terrorists of the internet, and I don't think it's fair. Why wouldn't you have just come down to the White House instead of suggesting that I have Gorka girls? Gorka girls. Really, that's character assassination. And I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to play this game, then sooner or later I'm going to catch up to you, Mr. Trap House, and there will be a drone strike.
I didn't know we were invited to the White House. I mean, we're certainly happy to air your grievances on the show.
There's a standing rhetorical invitation to the White House. Come on, why don't you just pop on down to the White House and say that Sebastian sent you? Why would you want to assassinate my character? Why would you want to have my character drive through Dealey Plaza without any cover on his limousine and then take a shot from one side when it really came from the other, instead of simply talking about what happened? Pull up a chair at the White House, have it to you. Do you prefer the English breakfast tea? Earl Grey? Lemon ginger, there's a number of teas here. I'm looking at the little tea caddy here at the White House. Let's not say where I am, but just pop on down. Look, hop on a trolley and come down to the White House. I'll put you on the register. Let's take a look at my physical paper calendar here and see. Thursday next. Would Thursday next be a good day for you to pop down to the White House, would you say?
Commander Gorka, first of all, thank you for your service. Second of all, we don't like to pop on down to the White House.
Voice changed, and I'm no stranger to that either. Sometimes I'm out of nowhere that will suddenly be pronounced like Moonraker. My father was a Moonraker, and that's part of my origin story. It's important that we would have cleared that up. We easily could have cleared that up if you merely would come down to the White House like a friendly chap, try to climb the fence, then halfway up, see what happens.
We usually like to work out beef on the pod. Like, we don't like to, go places. We invite our...
If you're looking to work out beef, then why don't you bring it down? I've got some tight back muscles. You can massage me like a Kobe cow. Hop on the White House. Do you have the address? Let me look it up real quick. Why don't you come down? Play some backgammon with me on the back porch of the White House. Chit-chat it out and say, hey, there's no way you'll possibly win, Mr. Chap House. I'm good at that kind of thing. Why don't you have a nice, faux-friendly chat with the supervillain down at the White House? All right, I've got to run. Let me take a look. I've got to run. I think I've got an appointment here. Let me pull up my auxiliary calendar. Yes, any moment now we're due to vilify the Persian people as an ethnicity on MSNBC. So I've got to go, but I'm synchronizing my watch if you synchronize yours, Z30, and I'll meet you Zurich time, meeting you really promptly, anytime you can. Come on down and don't be such a bloody cocksucker about it. Come see me at the White House and let's see if Let's see if you survive that day, Mr. Chapo. Gorka out.
Goodbye and all apologies to
we're very
Sebastian
sorry,
Gorka.
Commander Gorka.
I said Gorka out, Mr.
Oh my fucking god.
Guys, how about that Sebastian Gorka?
He is a fiery guy.
He's a passionate dude. And like I said, fair is fair. We're always willing to air any criticism of the show, provided you call us.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I'm
Live
a
on
little
air.
concerned that he might send drones to the Park Slope Mansion.
The drones follow the 21-foot rule, and if a drone ever comes within 21 feet of me, I can use my blade to disarm it, so I'm not too worried.
Cool.
Anyway, I'd just like to once again just issue this on-air apology to the real Sebastian Gorka for anything we may have said that slandered or misrepresented his views about the world or family history or
Or that he
credentials.
is actually a character from the popular anime Neon Crisis Evangelion. Is that the one that
That's the
Goku's
one.
on? I don't fucking know. Anime
Yes,
is
is the answer to
bullshit.
that question. Well, guys, it's the show for this week. It's me, Will Menaker. Joining me is Felix Peterman,
Hey, everyone.
Matt Chrisman,
Hi, folks.
Amber Lee Frost.
Howdy.
We got a good show for you this week. I don't know how we're going to top our Sebastian Gorka actually calling in to complain to us, but we got sort of two things for you, and then we're going to have another special feature. I got an article here for you that we're going to come down with both boots. Consider that sort of a pseudo reading series, but I think more of a serious discussion. And then we're going to, I think, have a welcome return of the duck hunt, and we're going to take a sort of extended duck hunt at a big fat duck who we've talked about before, but has, I don't know, somehow managed to avoid the scrutiny of getting the Chapo beam put on him. And then after that, we're going to do another pre-recorded call-in show, and we're going to take some of your questions live, pre-recorded on air. Do not send your questions now when you're listening to this. It's already too late. No, we're doing the Curious Cat thing again to reach out to you, our listeners. I want to start this week with, like I said, this article that I saw in the New Republic that I feel warrants a rebuttal or discussion or something, because I feel like it's one of these lib articles that pop up every now and again, or not every now and again. They pop up whenever liberals find themselves out of the presidency. And it reverts back to this red state, blue state dichotomy where the blue states are the good and virtuous states, and the red states are the bad, awful, mean, racist states. And the idea is, what if just the good states could just have their own country and stop living in America with all the bad states? The article, of course, I'm referring to was by Kevin Baker in the New Republic, the title of which is Blue Exit, a modest proposal for separating blue states from red.
First of all, he combined blue and exit into a faux portmanteau, and I just want to say that's a great way to start.
Yeah, those aren't
So it
even
looks
long
like
words.
blue exit
Blexit is a blaxploitation movie about
about
No.
Brexit.
I can't be the only one who thinks that if the Daley family, Michael Bloomberg, and all the guys in Southie got together, they would defeat racism.
Yep. Now, the subhead here is a modest proposal for separating blue states from red. So it's sort of like he's already with a wink and a nod, being like, "This is a real proposal."
I've read Jonathan
Yeah, I've read
Swift.
Jonathan Swift.
Literally the first piece of historical satire that everyone reads in fucking 7th grade.
As George Orwell wrote in 1984, some states take too much in tax expenditures and don't pay
English
enough.
Dictionary defines bad state as...
I love this tradition of satire that runs through PJ O'Rourke, which is when you drink a cocktail and you're like, welfare. But look, no, I mean, I like this. It's a grand tradition. Back in the 1700s, whenever Jonathan Swift lives, I don't care. But people would go into lords' house, if they would go into their manors and be like, why do 155 lords that I know buy books from this piece of shit after what he said? Irish babies.
But so he's doing it tongue in cheek, but man, it doesn't come across that way. I just want to read here from the this is the opening paragraph, and it says, "Dear Red State Trump voter, let's face it, guys, we're done." And it's like, dude, you're writing for the New Republic. These people have been done with you. You think this has come as some sort of shock to them that they're done with
also that they're reading the New Republic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
this is
Lord
satire.
Shorkins is taking a dump at his fucking Hyundai dealership and relaxing with the fucking New Republic.
A paper copy.
Right fucking Trump on my cup right now. I have to get home and read Gene Here's new fucking essay, you pussy.
But I just want to, okay, so this is the opening paragraph, and I just want to listen to just how reactionary the tone and cant of this piece is, just straight away. Kevin Baker writes, "For more than 80 years now, we, the residents of what some people like to call Blue America, but which I prefer to think of as the United States of we pay our own damn way, have shelled out far more in federal tax monies than we took in. We have funded massive infrastructure projects in your rural counties, subsidized your schools and your power plants and your nursing homes, sent you entire industries, and simultaneously absorbed the most destitute, unskilled, and oppressed portions of your populations, white and black alike. All of which, it turns out, only left you more bitter, white, and alt-right than ever." I like how straight away he's framing everything on right-wing terms. This horseshit idea about we pay our own damn taxes here. Straight away, just calling red states moochers on the welfare state, basically.
You know what's in actually Sun Tzu's The Art of War and Machiavelli's The Prince is to defeat your enemy, you have to talk exactly like them and use all their ideas. That's a sign of total victory.
Believe what they believe, and then you win.
Yeah.
But this idea that we have funded massive infrastructure projects. What is this? The fucking Tennessee Valley Authority?
Yeah. Well, also,
What do you mean we?
Why does he say alt-right? Do you really think a huge portion of the U.S. population are posting rare pepes?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's not 60-year-old Rifle Gary from fucking Fort Wayne is not on there I'm really mad that they revealed that one guy from that one podcast is married to a Jew. I'm deeply invested in this online community of 4,000 people.
There's some vet who's back from Iraq or Afghanistan. And he's like, the real fight is in Kekistan right now. But
that's a sign of great politics, by the way, when you think all politics is what happens on your timeline.
You're menchies, man.
Yeah.
But he goes on like this, and he says, "Truth is, you red states just haven't been pulling your weight. Not for, forever. Red states are nearly twice as dependent on the federal government as blue states. Of the 12 states that receive the least federal aid in return for each tax dollar they contribute to the U.S. Treasury, 10 of them voted for Hillary Clinton, and the other 2 were Michigan and Wisconsin, your newest recruits. By the same count, 20 of the 26 states most dependent on federal aid went to Trump." And it's congratulations, you just summed up why the Democratic Party is the party of rich people and rich states. That's why the red states, they get more federal aid because they're on a whole much poorer than blue states. So good job there.
And I want to clarify, it's not that they're the poorer people are going out in droves voting for Republican. They're just not voting because assholes like this think that his party is funding massive infrastructure projects when really they're an earned income tax credit, but only for people who do contract work for the NSA, and a fucking app for pregnancy.
Like what are these industries that are being given to like Alabama and Mississippi by like California and New York?
Kombucha tap, funded by the stimulus.
Yeah, no, I mean, what he's talking about is the fact that big chunks of this country have basically had an economy that has collapsed because of a neoliberal order that has reoriented around a consumer society and imports over exports and all that, and that a lot of these states end up getting a lot of federal funding because they have nothing else. The people there are more dependent on things like food stamps because there's no other industries.
Yes, but this is the left wing of the bourgeoisie, and the only thing they get out of this is like poor people are bad. And it's okay that they're poor because they're racist.
I mean, you see like a takeover of state legislatures and governor seats, sort of spurred by Alec and the Koch brothers, and your first impulse is just to yell at poor people. What does that tell you? Poor people who don't fucking vote. But the core thing in this that I'm interested in is how he seems to think you win elections through like PUA tactics. Like he's nagging every state that went red in the last year. Like, you'll be fine without us.
Well, what he goes on to discuss is this idea that, hey, look, have it your way. You don't like the federal government? Hey, like, we'll stop spending any federal tax expenditure on any of your shitty states. And in return, like, you won't have to collect, you won't have to pay federal taxes, but you'll get no money in return, which he thinks is this like, big, terrible deal for those states. Yeah. And this idea is like the fucking awful right-wing governors of like all of these places like Kansas or Louisiana, I'm thinking in particular, are already doing this plan that you're now like, they're the Brer Rabbit in this situation. They would gladly sign on that deal right now.
Yeah,
because it won't make one fucking difference to them.
It's different when Democrats do it because we're starving them woke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, do these people not see what happened when the Supreme Court decided to allow states to opt in or out of the Medicaid expansion?
Yes.
The poorest states that he's talking about, their government said, yeah, no, thousands of our people are going to not die because of this or not have their limbs cut off because of diabetes. Nah, that's fine. Instead, we were going to cut off those fucking diabetes limbs and we're going to make them spell out "fuck you, Obama" on the State House lawn. And they were fine with that.
I mean, it just baffles me that these articles come out every fucking 6 months. No, they write these all the time.
And it's been debunked is what's so insane. There's this book by Andrew Gelman, Red State, Blue State, Rich State, Poor State, that has conclusively shown that poor people everywhere tend to vote Democratic and rich people everywhere tend to vote Republican. And that the idea that these states have some sort of unique political cultures where the entirety is like hostile to government is wrong.
Right, but liberals agree with like right-wingers in that they don't have a materialist analysis of this shit, and they believe that politics is, as Milo says, downstream from culture. They 100% believe that.
And like not only that, like he goes on to like lay out this fantasy of what would happen once all of the good states are just sort of like we get rid of the dead weight of all the bad.
The dead weight of 54% of black people in this country, by the way, who live in the South.
That's another point to discuss. But like once you get rid of the dead weight,
they should have moved, I guess.
Well, that's exactly what he says in this article. He says, like, if you have a problem with this, just pack up and move, which I have to say, once again, way back on episode 2 of Chapo, is the same argument Kevin D. Williamson in the National Review made about poor red states. So congratulations, Kevin Baker. Two Kevins.
We have to keep talking about Kevins.
Keep talking about Kevins.
It's great, though. This is awesome because it means that we have a bipartisan consensus in favor of mass shanty towns surrounding the East and West Coast's major cities.
Great.
We can make this happen.
We're building
folks.
Bridges.
I can't wait for the LOL memes when Mississippi and Alabama or whatever are cut from the Union and then they bring slavery back.
Yeah.
Well, he takes pains to assure the reader in this modest proposal that, of course, is very satirical and winking that, like, oh, don't worry, we're not really going to secede in the Civil War sense. And it's just like, if this plan were even taken halfway seriously, like states would secede, and we probably would have a fucking civil war another decade or so, if not shorter.
People would want that.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who are invested in that. Like, you sound ridiculous right now, but, like, literally, there are like an entire bumper sticker industry based on people who want their fucking states to secede.
Yeah, and like, Kevin doesn't want that.
Right, because he's just fucking bitching.
That's
bitching. All they fucking do. They just want to perform their goddamn superiority to the knuckle draggers and whine. That's all they want to do. Like, if he fucking took this seriously, I would at least give him that amount of credit. But no, they just want to let everybody know how unhappy they are with all of their less evolved co-citizens and how they're not really even part of the same country, really. That's all they want to do.
It's amazing that
I'm not responsible for these people. It's just distancing themselves and renouncing their complicity with all of this, and so they can say it's not their fault.
Yeah, they need to have the fiction that, Clinton and then, Obama to a lesser extent before her and every Democratic candidate for the last, fucking 40 years presented this plan that's like, hey, bumpkins, we're going to build you up. When in reality, like, look at it. Look at Hillary's last ad that she ran. I'm voting for this child. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, this comes on the heels of actually some analysis that was done of the 2016 presidential election, not to continue to flagellate this dead animal, but
I feel great.
It basically concluded that Hillary Clinton's the content of her actual campaign, not her policy platform, you fucking morons, her actual campaign. I know her platform was the most progressive in Democratic Party history, but the actual content of her campaign itself was the least political in recent history. And I'm sorry, Donald Trump's was actually quite political.
I can't blame her for that. I honestly don't think that was a tactical or strategic error on their part. Nobody fucking likes neoliberalism. That's the end of the story. Nobody likes the prescriptions that they have for their problems. So they really couldn't run a political campaign in the traditional sense. They were hidebound by it. So Trump was this gift that solved the problem for them. I honestly wonder how they would have tried to figure out how to sell themselves if they had gotten a more conventional Republican. Probably because if they had a more conventional Republican, it would have elided the distinctions between the current order and sort of the mass discontent that Trump tapped into. But as it stands, Trump showed up and they're like, thank God, we don't have to do the impossible task, which is sell this shit to people.
One last thing I want to discuss in this thing is just like his idiotic conception of like the utopia that's going to happen, like I said, when we rid ourselves of the bad states. And he says, go ahead, end your federal Amtrak subsidies. In their place, we will build fantastic new high-speed rail systems of our own. They'll run past our state-of-the-art wind farms, fiber optic networks, and highways that recharge our self-driving cars as we travel. We also don't want to bother you with us about money to repair your Trump state airports, since, as you always claim, we'll just be flying over them anyway. Okay, where to begin with this one?
Mono meaning one, and rail meaning rail.
In the future,
I've sold high-speed rails there. Ogdenville, North Haverbrook.
Our wives' boyfriends will fly away in jetpacks.
Our wives' Pilates instructors will cruise into our garage on a self-driving car that recharges through a perpetual motion drive.
I like that he's selling himself a bullshit fantasy.
Yeah. Okay, but this is such a bullshit fantasy. Does he really think that the people who run the governments of states like New York or California actually give a shit about building or spending billions and trillions of dollars on high-speed rail? They don't give a fuck. They're traveling around by helicopter anyway.
That they could like make money off of it. Like if there's graft to be had, they would care about it, which is true of any infrastructure project.
But like this idea,
once again, you can see what is he talking about? He's talking about these amenities, basically. He's talking about the glory of liberalism as more amenities for him, like nicer trains for him to ride
for
on.
his commute.
Not a more equitable society, not less poverty. Not less wage slavery. No, nicer trains to ride on.
Yeah, in a country where like the fucking childhood hunger levels are comparable to like undeveloped nations, he's concerned about his commute.
Yeah, I mean, this is all things go back to divorce, right? I don't know if Kevin is divorced, but this is
Google it.
someone Google it, but I have a theory because the red state, this is not political. The red states are the bitch wife holding him back. Mm-hmm. And look, the moment, okay, fine, yeah, break up with me.
Especially the ones that left, because yeah.
I'm going to get a cool new car. It's going to be self-driving. I'm going all renewable. I am wearing that white blazer. Fuck you. I'm going to be the man I was always supposed to be. Being 40 is not a death sentence.
The exact same thing is going on with the fucking chud dipshits with secession bumper stickers on their pickup trucks. They have that same fantasy that if it wasn't for the goddamn libs, that they could live their best life. Because there's this fundamental conflict we have where we love America or some conception of it, but we like hate about at least half of the people in the United States. And that sort of psychic dissonance has to be resolved some way. And one of the best ones is just to fantasize about shedding them.
Again, though, that's like, it goes back to their idea that like culture supersedes material realities in on the political landscape.
Yeah, because there's no rich people in California and New York who have superseding political requirements that would still hold sway in your magic. I guarantee you, though, they would have the most wonderful segregated charter school network you could ever imagine. In Blue America,
an iPad
Sam
for every
B
child.
and Jason Jones's kids wouldn't have to worry ever again.
Once we divorce those nagging bitch red states, I'm wearing a statement blazer and I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah, I'm wearing a hat. I'm
going to be a hat guy now.
I'm going to be a hat guy.
I'm going to wear a trilby. Some days I'm going to wear a flat brim hat that just says Brooklyn, even though I've never
And
been
you know
there.
what, Puerto Rico? They'll finally respect me.
Just one other quick thing about his sort of fantasy about, our high-speed trains will whiz by our state-of-the-art wind farms. Kevin, guess which states have all of the wind?
Not to mention all the fucking water. Like the idea of California seceding, and they're all high-fiving themselves and giving each other grape nut enemas. And then day 2, it's like, oh shit, we have literally no water.
Yeah.
They shut off the water.
Yeah. They're like, we're the world's 5th largest economy. We have no water, and our 2 major industries are Silicon Valley and entertainment, which actually doesn't produce anything, really. That's a great idea, California. But yeah, like for instance, wind and solar power. Like if you really want to get serious about that in America, you're going to need a lot of those sort of like plains states, because that's where all the fucking sun and wind is, or most of it anyway. It's not going to work in the fucking Adirondacks. Sorry. He goes on here at the end. We will need to run our states and cities so well in such an effective and enlightened manner that we can make you understand all over again what every page of our history should already tell you. Through our own example, we must win you over, American by American, town by town, state by state, until we are once more in a position to mitigate all of the foolish, cruel, and wasteful things you're about to inflict on the rest of us, and to move forward once again as American states united.
God, you did this to me. I'm the victim here.
Yeah. My hairline was full before we got married. Now it's a horseshoe.
And look, he's right about the governments of these right-wing states that are just unbelievably vindictive and cruel, but like he way overestimates what these blue states that are, like New York is not a fucking good state. It's better than maybe like Kansas in terms of our state government, but like they're not enlightened people in charge of any of these blue states.
Yeah, but these people worship power, so they believe in good, strong leaders.
Andrew Cuomo, a strong leader for a new America, a newer, bluer America. A new life awaits you in the blue state colonies.
Our people, our blood, our country, our ride-sharing app.
So yeah, let's do Arthur Brooks. Okay, so like let's just say this is we're bringing back the Duck Hunt, and I'm doing it for Arthur Brooks, president of the American Enterprise Institute. Arthur came on my radar this week because I was looking into Ezra Klein and trying to find examples of his inveterate ass kissing of people like Paul Ryan. And I realized that he actually interviewed Arthur Brooks on his The Weeds podcast the most boring podcast about weed.
It's actually a recap. It's a retrospective about the Showtime series Weeds.
It's a recap.
Yeah.
And then like I got into this thing where it's like he just wrote this whole new book called The Conservative Heart, and then I fell down this fucking rabbit hole of Arthur Brooks, and I wanted to share some of it on the show. And I'm going to start with the National Review. Michael R. Strain, previous Chapo reading series guest star, you may remember from Please Call Me Sir, the Chapo reading series. He actually was kind enough to sum up this Ezra Klein interview of Arthur Brooks from 2015. Here are some poll quotes from that interview with Ezra Klein. Arthur Brooks says, "Think tanks are an industry that grew out of academia, and academia is the dowdiest possible way of making a living." How pithy.
Fam, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He goes,
Dowdy.
Dowdy is the dowdiest.
Like you wear like a house coat? What the fuck does that mean?
I work for a university and dress real slutty.
Listen to this shit. Arthur Brooks says, "We don't have any corporate positions at AIE. In fact, we bring in people who don't share our mission precisely to, quote, murder board our ideas." Murder board our ideas. What the fuck? I mean, like, just what are you talking about? That's what a horrible fucking turn of phrase. He goes, "We do 350 events per year. We invite people who disagree with our view. We regularly have people from the Center for American Progress and give them the podium." How generous, Arthur. And then Ezra after this goes, "And you at AEI are known for having the best food."
Oh, kill yourself. Fucking
Show
kill
me that
yourself.
calf. I want to see the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And Arthur Brooks says, "You often hear center-right AIE or AEI, but there is no qualifier for liberal think tanks like Brookings."
Yes,
And
there
yes,
is.
there is.
There
There
is.
absolutely
Yeah.
fucking is. Brookings is a center liberal
Left.
think
That's like
tank.
canonical. I've never heard anybody describe Brookings as anything other than center left.
And he said, "There is a tendency by the media to stick a finger in stuff by the center right." Again, great turn of phrase, Arthur.
Oh, that is.
Whoa.
And by stick a
Wow.
finger in the center right, they mean like literally finger to pleasure them and get them off
I'm
at
so
their
sick.
demand.
Yeah, I'm so sick of the media going knuckle deep in me and stimulating my prostate.
How dare they not massage the neoconservative prostate?
And here's the last pull quote from Ezra to Arthur Brooks. "Arthur Brooks is a snappy dresser, and his think tank really matters."
Okay, Googling.
He is now wearing.
I'll get judged with this.
Oh.
He is now wearing a huge, cool silver watch and big, colorful cufflinks.
Are you 12 years old,
You
dude?
are, I think it is fair to say, the nattiest of think tank executives I know.
Dude, fucking kill yourself. Fucking
it's
die,
actually like-
die.
They just
die.
included just a little, like, it's just sound effects that
oh
just.
my god.
Let me see.
My band got a little shirt.
Oh my god!
My band got a little shirt.
Let me see. Wait. Oh, shirt's so tight.
Shirt's so
Shirt
little.
and blazer so tight.
Yeah.
No,
I
like
got a matching pocket square.
Yeah, no, he is exactly one of these guys that just proliferate in DC that like wear like a blazer with like a pattern on it and a pocket square.
And then
they're like,
eccentric.
"Whoa, what a snazzy dresser this
Yeah.
guy is." Like fucking even though he's
Because Ezra Klein can't dress himself.
yeah, we've seen those photos.
Yeah, the motherfucker wears footy pajamas to the Vox offices every day.
I mean, it's easy to be like natty and cool or whatever the fuck these dumb terms are in DC because literally everyone looks like a bunch of chicken breasts in a Ziploc bag with a tie stuck on.
I was gonna say like a slight digression. He's a New York guy, but it's the same thing where like Roger Stone has this reputation of being like an incredibly stylish dresser.
Dresses like Ned Flanders.
Dude, like
dad.
he wears suits that like exclusively have pinstripes the size of fucking shoelaces. He looks like a fucking clown.
He dresses like he's hosting Comic View.
Bruce.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, so Nixon was framed, y'all. Thank you. Peace. Good night.
This
Let's
is
get
what
home
Ezra
safe.
Klein thinks is cool.
Yeah, and another thing about Arthur Brooks, and again, like Ezra loves these kind of guys, these conservative wonks that he really looks up to and thinks are like, you know, a worthy opponent, or we want to consider their
I think
ideas.
it's more of a father figure.
Yeah.
But,
Wait, did Ezra not have a dad?
if he did, he didn't do his job.
That
I got a big laugh from the deadbeat dad contingency of the podcast. Yeah, we're like, that hurts, but then I laughed.
the point is though that like Ezra looks up to people like Arthur Brooks out of some sort of misplaced patriarchal affection or some idiotic political belief or lack thereof rather. Arthur Arthur Brooks is such a sensible, normal guy that he allowed himself to be prominently featured in several of Steve Bannon's fucking crackpot propaganda movies right before Donald Trump was even like a glint in his nose. But that's how serious. That's what a good, serious guy Arthur Brooks is. That he's willing to lend his stylish, natty attire to a documentary about how like starting World War III is like the cleansing that the world and the white race needs. So I found out he wrote this book, and I just want to read you here a little. Think about what the American Enterprise Institute represents, and then let me just read you a little bit of this flap copy here. In The Conservative Heart, Arthur C. Brooks contends that after years of focusing on economic growth and traditional social values, it's time for a new kind of conservatism, one that helps the vulnerable without mortgaging our children's future. In Brooks's daring vision, this conservative movement fights poverty, promotes opportunity, celebrates earned success, and values spiritual enlightenment. It is an inclusive movement with a positive agenda to help people lead happier, more hopeful, and satisfied lives.
Will, I'm so sorry, but if I don't tell you this right now, blood is going to come gushing out of my nose.
Amber, do you?
After high school, Brooks pursued a career as a professional French hornist.
No.
Serving from 1983 to 1989 with the Annapolis Brass Quintet in Baltimore, and from 1989 to 1992 as the principal French hornist for the City Orchestra of Barcelona in Spain.
Respect.
I did not anticipate professional band geek,
But
which, by the way, is the coolest thing about him. I apparently he's a very good French hornist.
This is a perfect example of how austerity breeds reaction, because if there were more generous, grants for fine arts in this country, he might still be blowing that French horn and not saying that poor people need to dance for pennies.
So I was trying to look more into The Conservative Heart because I wanted to find out what was more in this book. And as it turns out, Brooks's solution for a happier, more fulfilling life for Americans is that they just work several soulless, meaningless jobs for any money that they're deigned to be paid by their employees, because that's what he calls earned success. And then I found a review of it in the New York Times by the conservative economist Gregory Mankiw, Gregory Mancow is actually how you pronounce that.
That guy sucks so much. He writes horrible economics textbooks.
Well, listen to this. This is a favorable review describing what's in the book. He says, this is Gregory Mancow talking about Arthur Brooks's argument. He says, the image problem is that conservatives too often resemble Ebenezer Scrooge. Like literally. No, like not you sound like Ebenezer Scrooge. You fucking look like a corpse. By opposing increases in the minimum wage, advocating cuts in corporate taxes, railing against excessive regulation of business, and worrying about the cost of entitlement programs, they appear to care only about the rich and well-connected. They seem indifferent to the needs of those whom Hillary Clinton likes to call everyday Americans. The solution, according to Brooks, is to speak less from the head and more from the heart. Instead of emphasizing specific policy proposals, stress broader goals and aspirations. Explain that you aim to help the underdogs.
So speak out your ass.
Identify with the Bob Cratchits of the world. He goes on to say, Brooks believes that the key to personal happiness is, quote, earned success, and a higher minimum wage means that fewer people have the opportunity to experience it. Think about that.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of like, paternalism, it really harkens back to the George Fitzhugh thing. Like, we really should just all be slaves to benevolent owners. Well, that would be the ideal way to solve poverty and also inculcate a positive work ethic.
The AIE is like perfect work. Their utopian plan is just Willy Wonka's factory, and we're all the Oompa Loompas.
Well, no, you guys say this, but like, look, you guys just don't know. Not aware of the arguments that rather than giving people money, a better way to help them is the earned income tax credit. This income supplement is well targeted to families living in poverty. It does not raise the prices of goods and services produced by a low-wage worker, and it does not discourage firms from hiring these workers. It incentivizes work by increasing the number of people enjoying earned success. It's free real estate, people. It's free real estate. It's earned success. Yeah, that was the Arthur Brooks rabbit hole. This is the fucking asshole who people like Ezra can't stop kissing the ass of, but he is 10 to 20 to 100 times more evil than all of the sort of socially incorrect people that they disdain. And what I love about even the flap copy to Arthur Brooks's book, which is like trying to sell it in the best possible light, and a sympathetic review, they both make it clear that this is just about pitching a new image for what is essentially the same ruthless policies of the upward transfer of wealth and the gutting of civil rights and the welfare state that these people always want. They're just trying to figure out a better, kinder way to sell it, which is so funny considering who's president now is showing sort of how irrelevant that fucking message is as long as you pitch, the sort of hard right nationalism. I guess to close things out, I just want to play the book trailer itself for you guys. It's not long, but just listen to this.
Look around the country today. It's no secret that the deck is stacked against poor and struggling Americans.
Yeah, no shit.
Yet around the world, American-style free enterprise, trade, and entrepreneurship have lifted billions out of poverty. But right here at home, the policymakers who stand for those things are the least trusted to fight for vulnerable people. That has to change. I'm Arthur Brooks. I want to start a social movement so that we can do for this nation what America's done for the world. Lift up the least of these, our brothers and sisters. Let's start this movement together and show everyone what's truly written on the conservative heart.
Because all those people getting pulled out of poverty in the other rest of the world are people going from the absolute grinding day-to-day immiseration of rural peasantry to the slightly less grinding poverty of working in fucking sweatshops.
Yeah, go back and listen to our interview with Maria Hangeveld about Nike's supply chain in Vietnam for a good example of how free enterprise and capitalism are really lifting up and empowering women all over the world. I guess in closing, the conservative heart, I'd buy that for $1. Pre-recorded call-in show, guys. You, the listener, connecting your minds, your hearts to ours through the flesh transference of the internet. Long live our new flesh, Curious Cat. I pray to you.
So for those who don't remember or weren't subscribers when we did this the first time, I have started the Curious Cat, and there are hundreds and hundreds of questions that are coming in. Most, unfortunately, won't go answered, but I'm going to present a couple standout questions to our hosts and see what they have to say about the issues of the day. First off, what can socialism do for gamers' rights?
Felix.
All right. Look, we've all played multiplayer games. Some of us our agoraphobia is too bad because we don't want to get online and someone you lose. No one likes to lose. And then to add insult to injury, a 13-year-old is like, why don't you suck your mom's dick? And you're like, first of all, why? We're just trying to have fun here. That's gaming under capitalism. Gaming under socialism, all weapons are unlocked. And that's not to say everyone's at the same level. Look, I know how modern warfare works, even though I'm not a fan of the game. There's a difference between equality, equity, and justice. And in justice, everyone gets the SOP mod M4A1 with a grenade launcher. Everyone prospers. Everyone has fun. Every day is E3. Every girl is a booth babe.
But Felix, actually, let me ask you though. Gaming, much like capitalism, is sort of based on the ruthless competition among atomized and alienated individuals. How can we preserve the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat in gaming under a more egalitarian social and economic order?
Pretend I just slapped my fallacy card down on the table. Faulty premises. Gaming is not about ruthless competition. The only competition is the competition in the gamer's soul to find out what kind of person they are, what kind of adversity they can overcome, what kind of problems they can solve, and what they do when they're under pressure. Leadership boards may fall and go down, kill and death ratios may fluctuate, but what is always soaring like the beautiful eagle is the soul of the gamer.
Okay.
There you have it.
That's a good answer.
For my part, I say that socialism will not work unless gaming is outlawed.
By the way, for people listening right now, we have Matt on a video call, and he is literally laying down in bed with his laptop on his stomach and the microphone in front of it. It is all hands-free. Everything is just balancing on his gut while he drinks a beer, prone. Which I don't even know how he does that without spilling it on his face, because he is flat on his fucking back.
Oh. So you criticize?
Look, this is Guerrilla Podcast.
Oh, so you criticize gamers while destroying your brain cells like a wastrel with beer?
All right. Next question.
As I did the first time, kind of mixed in some serious ones and some not so serious ones. This is, I think, a legitimate question. How should I introduce Chapo to my conservative parents?
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. Well, don't is the first answer.
Don't
to
do
that.
that.
We're not for them.
Yeah.
Don't. But however, I would say, I think how you can approach, the show and conservative family members or even friends is to come at them with the perspective of like, I, as a leftist, as a gray wolf, as someone who is not a liberal but on the left, I have better reasons for hating the Democratic Party and liberals than you do. Mm-hmm. They make more sense. They're funnier. Mm-hmm. They're better. They're more cutting than any weak shit that you read on a Facebook group or fucking listen to on talk radio. Next question.
Assign Always Sunny characters to each Chapo member.
Oh, we've done this before.
we have
haven't
done
we?
this.
Yeah, this is pretty well established. I am Charlie. Will is Dennis. Felix is obviously Mac. And Amber is Frank, which makes Virgil D. We've had that. That's like
in any one of these like lineups, just always make Virgil the lady character.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Always
woke.
make me the grossest yet most in control one.
Yes.
I think that alignment works perfectly.
Yeah, I agree.
Menaker mindset is like the denistum.
Yeah.
Someone here, a real deep cut they're bringing up. I really enjoyed the interview with the trad cat you did, which is wild.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
Though the most bitter parts were uncomfortable to listen to, I think that kind of direct exchange is important. Do you see having more guests you disagree with on the pod for that sort of thing, or do you worry it could devolve into corny gotcha punditry?
Okay, this is a good question.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, this is a good
Yeah.
question. And to the person asking it, if you thought it was weird to listen to, imagine conducting the interview, friend. No, I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? Like the Walther episode, I don't regret doing it. We released it sort of uncut as a YouTube video just so it could be out there and exist in the world and not have it just be like, oh, we just canned it because, we hated talking to him or whatever. But in terms of like, what are we going to do with the show with like bringing people on who disagree with us?
We're not a debate forum, though. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what makes that. First of all, that stuff is never entertaining.
Oh, it sucks.
It's so boring.
It sucks. Like, I mean, everyone hates Bill Maher, rightly so. But the worst thing about that show is just getting four dickheads to like wanly argue with each other. You never get like the best version of anybody's argument for anything. And like they just talk over each other, and it's just frustrating and irritating. And you're listening, and there's no way that you're not going to be rooting for one side or the other. It's not like you're going to have some sort of Bakhtinian explosion of creativity and realize, oh my God, they're both wrong, and I have synthesized their ideas into a fantastic new thing.
Yeah,
No,
those
you're
things
just gonna
don't
be
exist
annoyed.
to advance the dialectic.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
we
it's just going to be annoying.
But I mean, it's
did,
fine. We're entertainment, and that shit isn't entertaining.
Yeah, we did one episode with a guy who we did diametrically disagree with, and it was kind of good. Like, I thought it was a good one. But it's like, it's rare that it works out like that.
Well, partially that was because he just like never
He rolled
actually
over.
made an argument and just agreed with us and absorbed my abuse of him.
Yeah, I mean the only good way to argue in media, you can't do it anymore, but it was William Buckley's show Firing Line, and I would do it like Matt. You would be like, you would be Gore Vidal, and you would be like, "Good gamers are in a box in the crypto Nazis," and I would go like, "I'll suck you in the goddamn face, you queer."
I mean the only good debate happening in this country is on Pardon the Interruption on ESPN.
Yeah. Or the Mike Huckabee thing where it's like dry rub or wet rub.
No, and the other reason that I'm lukewarm on the idea is like you said, like you listen to it and then you just get angry. We conducted the interview and I can see Matt getting angrier and angrier.
Physically angry.
Physically convulsing with rage.
I have to say that was really more about his excruciating delivery.
Yeah.
and ability to fucking spit out a goddamn word.
Yeah, it was so bizarre.
Said. If he had somebody who was not cripplingly drunk, maybe it might be okay. But I think it would have to be in person for one thing. No more over the fucking transom shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Debate. It would have to be somebody who was in the room with us.
So it'd be I would say under the right circumstances with the right person, I could imagine doing another debate or whatever. But the other thing is I don't want to fucking debate right wingers because I feel like that's pointless. I don't like them. They're the fucking enemy. There's no fucking debate to be had, really. I think everything they stand for is awful. I hate it. And I think it would be more productive to, I don't know, debate a lib, I suppose, because I feel like they're more easily won over, or that's more productive in some sense. Next question.
Oh, this is more of a comment, but I do think it's germane. Everyone says to me that Wario is Italian like Mario, but it's fucking not true. Wario is in all caps. Wario is fucking Algerian.
That's
noted.
It is canon.
No further comment is necessary.
That's what the book The Stranger is about. A man goes into a castle and jumps on all a guy's friends' heads, takes all his coins, and then
Kevin
tucks
said,
him.
if I must choose between Wario and Justice, I choose Wario.
Someone asks, when is the next Cthulhu radio play going to happen?
Oh, I mean,
We would like to do
no
it.
plans. I mean, nothing is set yet, but we definitely want to do another Call of Cthulhu scenario.
Yeah.
Hopefully with Amber.
Yeah,
You can
definitely
create
with Amber.
A character. We'd love to bring you into the
only
world
takes
of tabletop
8 hours to
role.
do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a couple people asking us to do a reprint of the shirts from December. I think,
Yeah, we should.
We should
Yeah.
do more shirts.
Or- should definitely do more shirts.
We might do a
Yeah,
new
yeah.
design.
Yeah, I think we could do a run on the classic Chapo logo, but I do want to make a T-shirt out of the Metal Gear Dry Boy drawing, like the Metal Gear Solid that Matt
You should watch what
Lubchansky
you
did.
should watch what you say, Will, because the next question is for Felix in particular. Felix,
Oh, gee, I wonder what it's going to be about.
Felix, how come you continue to support Big Boss when it is obvious, all caps, obvious that Zero is the true communist? I'm going to give you 1 minute to answer
Fam,
this,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
just to keep things moving.
Fam, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Just keep it under
Zero
a minute.
is a
I'm
revisionist.
gonna go get a sandwich.
Okay, let me explain something to you. The boss, the woman, she was a radical centrist. She was a radical centrist because
Will's looking at his watch.
she just said a bunch of platitudes that don't make any sense and left people to interpret it forever. Big Boss is an anarcho-communist, the best type. Zero is a fucking neoliberal. He believes in like Palantir and all this shit. Like he's doing genetic experiments to send people into Blackwater. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Part 1 of 380. In 1945, when Ocelot was born to Boss
Will, what's
and
the time?
Sorrow.
All right, okay, next
Good.
question.
Okay. Do you guys and girl have differences in your political beliefs? Obviously, you're all pretty far to the left, but do you have any particular disagreements?
I'm sure we do, but none that I've come across so far.
Yeah, I mean, like we agree on things like, you know, medicine should be socialized. We against the imperialist state, but we all disagree on the question of Cyprus.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Yeah.
Threaten to tear us apart.
Yeah,
And also, I mean, I try not to bring it up because it always gets really tense, but Felix is obviously very insistent that Assad is the lion of Damascus, whereas I am very firm in my belief that he is the falcon.
yeah. I mean, we agree on the same point that anyone who opposes Assad is a Western NATO running dog. But just, you know, disagree on how. But we all want a better world for Assad.
Next question. Next question. Next question.
Matt, this is directed at you. It's a cinema question.
Okay?
Matt, did duelists change your opinion of Ridley Scott?
No.
Okay.
I'll say it right now. Duelist was good. I liked it. I liked it more than most Ridley Scott movies. But for one thing, even if it had been my favorite film, it's not going to make up for 30 years of hack work.
Yeah.
For one thing. It was good, but it didn't really blow me away. He seemed to really have two moves in Duelist. He would have, when somebody is in a room or in a field, he would make it look like a painterly, like romantic still life painting. And then when they would duel, it would get all frantic and handheld and intercut. And that was sort of his two moves that he had in the whole movie. And it looked beautiful, but yeah, no, he's a hack. He's been coasting on 3 movies, the last of which was made in like the mid 80s. And now I think he's basically realized that because he's dedicated his twilight years to just humping the corpses of the few decent movies he
George
made
Lucasing.
until he fucking dies.
Yeah.
So, no.
I totally concur with Matt on Ridley Scott. The correct, true woke Chapo take is that we would trade Tony for Ridley right now.
I would love to see what Tony would have been doing if he hadn't died. I mean, he was like, some of his movies, as unwatchable as they might have been, were genuinely like avant-garde and experimental. Like if you try to sit down and watch Domino, that movie is like, I don't know how much it costs, like $70, $80 million. It's basically an $80 million art film. And it will give you a migraine headache. But it's still way more interesting than anything Ridley Scott has made in 35 years. Ross Douthat's favorite movie is Gladiator. Case closed.
Yeah, easily.
Yep.
When The Last Samurai is a better movie. It's the same story, but it's a better movie.
Next question.
Someone asks, are you still planning on doing shows around the U.S. this year? I'd die if you came to Chicago or Milwaukee.
Funny you
Chicago
bring that
is,
up.
yeah.
Actually, now would be a good time to let everyone know that we actually are going to be doing a show in Pittsburgh on the 19th with Street Fight at... this is actually not made up. The venue is called Spirit, and it's a pizza restaurant. I mean... That's not a joke.
Is that true?
That's
I
true.
didn't even
That's
know that.
so awesome.
That's true. Not only that, on the 18th, we are getting into Pittsburgh, and we're doing a Pittsburgh DSA happy hour and fundraiser. We're going to do a show the next day with Street Fight in Pittsburgh. We do have plans to go to Chicago this
Hell
summer.
Yeah. Homecoming, baby.
Boston, we're going to be actually at Harvard in the middle of April. Believe it or not, we're going to be doing something there. Stay tuned, but we have some live dates and touring coming soon.
And I gotta say, I would love to do Milwaukee because I'm from there. That would be neat.
I've never been. I'd love to do Milwaukee.
I'm not sure I'm allowed back in Indiana.
Well, good. We'll skip it. We'll jump over Indiana. There's no reason to go to Indiana ever.
Sorry, fans from Indiana. We're never coming there.
I like this one. It's just a comment. This is genuinely my favorite one that's come across. It's a two-parter. First part's a question. Second part's an observation. Are you happy, Will? I hear sadness in your laughter.
Truly, he is the Pagliacci of Chapo.
No, I'm very happy.
Perceptive.
I'm very happy.
Time for the film corner. Film fellas, Will, Matt, and Amber. Have you seen Night of the Hunter?
Oh my God, yes.
That's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
One of my all-time favorite movies, yeah.
Same. Night of the Hunter is a fucking fantastic movie. I watch it probably once a year. Mm-hmm. It is amazing.
I watched it this Halloween.
I mean, incredible that was like the only movie Charles Lawton ever directed.
It
Yeah.
was, yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's also like the only major American film done in German Expressionism.
Yeah. That movie is incredible. Robert Mitchum, again, one of my favorite actors. And I'll use this an excuse to tell an anecdote I read about the making of The Night of the Hunter, which is that Mitchum loved winding up and making uncomfortable Lawton, who was a very sort of proper British gentleman. And
Mitchum was just smoking blunts all day.
Yeah, Mitchum was on that lounge. And apparently, like at the craft services, Mitchum apparently put his dick in a hot dog bun and then just turned around and was like, here, I got one for you. And then Charles Lawton looked down and was like horrified.
I love Mitchum, and him in that movie to this day scares the shit out of me.
Oh
like
my God, yeah.
I actually feel like electric fear when he goes down into the basement.
Little children. No, it's so good. Yeah, 100% recommend Night of the Hunter to anyone who wants to watch it and hasn't seen it already or just wants to rewatch it. All right,
Watch it in the dark.
Next question.
Yeah.
There's a lot about me. I probably shouldn't have.
Brendan, ask it.
Spotlight. No, it's just shit like, Brendan, do you like older women?
Answer that right now, Brendan. I'm asking you.
We need to
I'm
know.
asking you right now, Brendan. Do you like
That
older
was
women?
actually
This is information the world needs to know.
that was actually me on behalf of my mom. I want a new dad.
Yes. Brendan, you like older women?
Yeah, can confirm.
Can confirm.
Folks, I'm-
Chapo listeners,
Oh yeah, there's another compliment for me. Just saying, they're all.
what's the compliment, Brendan? Read
Well,
it.
Just someone has the opinion that Brendan has the most pleasant radio voice in all of the trap house. So,
Well,
I
it's-
didn't.
It's like that's like being the world's tallest dwarf.
Yeah.
If you went to a lab to find the 3 or the 4 or 5, all of us, the worst voices you could find.
That
We're all
sound like
terrible. We sound like
the
shit.
caterwauling death rattle of like a bag of cats being drowned or something.
Hold on. This is a good one, and maybe it's a good one to go
Okay.
out on.
All right.
Okay. It's
All right.
not too serious, not too flippant. Chapo. So here's the last one. Chapo's popularity has grown beyond what I'm assuming any of you ever expected. What's it been like adjusting to be? Well, I'm not going to say that part. That sounds too indulgent. Are there any plans for the upcoming Chapo empire that you can let us all in on? We can be as cryptic as we want,
Well,
but there are.
We're all getting boats.
I can assure you. Well, first of all, to the beginning of the question, yeah, the success of the show has been far beyond anything we could have dreamed of or hoped of when we
Hell
started
yeah.
doing it. And it's been incredible. And I can let you know that there are irons in the fire. There are things in the works to bring Chapo, to a different platform.
You will be witness to a great becoming.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, for interrupting that incredibly business pitch sounding answer from Will.
Will's the the straight laced dad.
Okay, here's what I'll say. Enthusiasms. As a podcast becomes preeminent, you're expected. What is that which gives me pleasure? Podcast, baseball, part of a team. Chapo team. And then I beat Virgil to death with a baseball bat. What do you say, guys?
All right.
Chapo out.
Chapo out.
Bye.
Till next time.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Kisses to all of you.